Hello, and you are listening to KAOP AM 1045, broadcasting live in Capitol Hill on 88 watts of power. My name is Danny.
I'm Joseph.
And this is Accents on Purpose, a weekly radio show where we cover all the music of Seattle, the Pacific Northwest, and beyond.
Every damn song.
Every song that's been recorded this week.
Every note,
everything. We'll get to it. Just stick with us. We got a case of Rainier. We're popping them open.
Pot of coffee. We're going to do this.
We've got 2 pots of coffee going. Joseph, how has your week been? What's new?
I mean, I don't know about what's new, but my week's been pretty good. Last week was Summit Block Party, so I got to see a few bands I enjoyed there.
Highlights?
Six Sad World. Always good every time I've seen them. They were really great. And Ubu Roy, again. Friends of the show and just friendly guys.
And it was kind of weird because Uber Roy had to open. They had to be the first band, and I think that's the first time I've seen the first band of an outdoor festival.
Well, no. So the first band was actually a gentleman playing. I can't remember his name, and I apologize.
A gentleman was he wearing a 3-piece suit?
He had a cane. Yeah.
Hello.
He was very polite. But his set was very soft, beautiful acoustic music, and so it really set this tone of this is a nice Saturday, everyone's getting food at the food truck, just a lot of families at that time, and then Uber Roy came in and just shredded it.
They shredded it.
Which was awesome, but...
I would say that, there's a lot of people there, and I would say I've walked past that block of Summit often, and per capita... That's the least amount of people I've seen drinking on that block.
You just zigged that block hard.
It's a weird block.
It's odd. Perfect for a little festival.
Anyways, this week's guest is the co-creator or only creator and co-host of Seattle's hottest podcast, the VHS Wall.
Everyone's listening. Everyone's tuning in.
Really?
Yeah, sure.
Myke Pelly, how are you doing?
I'm doing well. Thank you for asking me on.
Yeah, thanks for coming.
I love Accidents on Purpose. It's another hot podcast on my list.
Whoa. Hey, we didn't say it.
Came from me.
So how's your day been today?
Today's been good. I woke up at around 11 a.m. and usually I don't get that chance because I work a fucking shitty 8 to 5 in Northgate. Ugh. And
you have a car then?
I do. I have to. I bought it for the job.
Yeah.
So I just try to keep that out of my head, and then I take advantage of the weekends, sleep in, and then went to band practice, and now I'm here.
We'll get to the music later. Let's start. We'll get to the music later.
Daniel likes to shut down our guests.
No, we got a structure. We got things we got to get to.
We have no structure.
No, we have structure. So now,
obviously, structure.
Yeah. Oh, okay.
So now, some folks might know what the VHS Wall podcast is about. Some might not. But before we talk about the podcast, I actually want to ask you about the VHS Wall. Actual. Now I know it's gone.
I didn't understand until I listened to a few episodes that you had this wall. I think it was the episode where you talked about.
Why don't you let him explain?
About moving. I can talk.
Well, I mean, I just did this nice build up, and you're like, okay. So, anyways, explain to our listeners what the VHS Wall.
What it is.
Yeah.
Well, I moved into this house about, I guess at this point it's maybe 7 years ago. Called New Orlando. It's over on 23rd and Union, and there's been many parties there. It's a pretty well-known house. It had its own fucking name when I moved in, and the people that were living there just one in particular, this girl Catherine, just had this crazy array of VHSs. And they were amazing. They were all the best, video nasties, the best shitty, campy horror movies, all that stuff, that shit I'd never heard of before, and I know of now because of her. But they moved out, but they left behind a whole bunch of videos, and there was this one particular wall in the house that just seemed so, I don't know, empty, and the whole structure of the house was weird anyway, just because it was built by this really old man who doesn't know much about architecture or whatever.
So he's just nailing boards all over the place.
Weird.
Yeah.
So it's the guy from Unforgiven. Why am I blanking on the actor's name?
Which one? I don't.
The guy building the house, Lex Luthor. Who is fucking the actor that played
Gene Hackman?
Gene Hackman in Unforgiven. That was one of the subplots. Was he was trying to build a house and he was really bad at it.
Oh.
Really?
don't
There's a
remember
movie
that
about
at
Gene
all.
Hackman trying to build a house?
No, it's Unforgiven. The Western.
That's like a
space
famous
one.
Western. I saw it a long time ago with my dad.
It's a good
'cause he
movie,
loves
but
Westerns.
anyways, so Gene Hackman's the sheriff in the town, and he's building a house, and like everyone's like making jokes that there's like not one straight line. He's just really bad at building a house.
Oh, dude.
Which,
That's
The first punker fucking building his house.
but anyways, back to that.
Yeah, it was just this empty wall, and then and I eventually became sort of the house manager, I guess you could say. Like everybody moved out, but I was the one constant.
You were the senior member.
Pretty much. I decided who would move in at that point, and I was the one that had the relationship with the landlord and all that stuff. So I decided this one wall that was very weird and like out of place, I was going to use all the leftover VHSs that Catherine left behind and like build a wall. And it only filled up about like 4 shelves. But I wanted the shelves to be the exact size of a VHS.
Yeah.
It's because aesthetically it's funny.
Yeah.
And
it's pleasing.
And like it's kind of a goal. It's like, let me finish this fucking wall. Like get there, I'll add all my favorite movies and all that shit. And then I did that. And there was still more space that needed to be taken up. So then I had my friends bring theirs over. I even rented some of, like, my friend Pete, I rented about 20 videos from him. I was just like, I'm going to give you $5 and you're going to bring all of your VHSs over to my house and I'm going to house them.
Yeah.
And
I like that. No, I would have. I would have done that. That's a nice.
Yeah. So eventually it filled up and it is what it was. And one day, my friend Chris Brown was really, really high and decided to take them all off and color coordinate them.
Yeah.
Whoa.
Which was hilarious.
I cannot take credit for the color coordination. That was all
it's
Chris
great.
Brown.
Yeah.
Yeah. But I kept it that way for years.
Until you moved, because you moved recently. That's when I found out it was real.
So would people just like give you their VHS? Did you become like that guy that gets all the donated VHS when people had to move and stuff? Or no?
Just a small group of friends, but I became, because I love. I'm a very nostalgic person, and so when it comes to watching a movie on VHS, like to me, I appreciate it so much because you got those like trailers that you'll never see again.
Yeah.
Unless you look them up on YouTube, but why would you? Because you would have no reason to look up those specific trailers.
You wouldn't even think about it.
Yeah, you wouldn't think about
it. To look it up.
Right,
Yeah.
so you put in like Gremlins 2 and just watch all the fucking amazing trailers in front of it, and you're just like, fuck, this is amazing.
Yeah.
It's an experience. So I started buying them up and collecting them myself as well.
One of my favorite things about your podcast and your nostalgia is that your childhood, movie-wise, seems to mirror my own very much. Such as, like, mentioning and talking at length about the movie Brink.
Oh, my God.
Which,
I
like,
became a rollerblader
that's
that movie.
Yeah, and
I'm not embarrassed to say.
no, it's great. And also, I had a dog named Wicket growing up, based upon those Ewok, like, straight-to-video movies or whatever, and you do one of those, and I was like...
Good.
Finally, someone's talking about these important films.
These important films.
They are important, okay?
Yeah.
They're very, very important.
Yeah.
Well, like one thing that's kind of interesting. And this has been hit upon by like a lot of people, but with VHS, there's just certain movies that you always end up seeing, like the Jerry Maguires, and I don't know. It's just VHS. Like when you go to yard sales or you go to like thrift stores. You always see like the same VHS.
Does Spin Cycle still sell VHS?
No, me and my boss fought about that for a long time, and he actually like removed the shelf and put other stuff there. But then I bought a bunch from someone and then put them back on the shelf, and it was like like an old couple with like the thermostat. It was just that we never talked about it. We just kept making moves against each other. And then finally, in the end, he told me like to just stop buying VHS,
Nice.
which I still we're overcrowded as a store, but I still think we can make a little room for just a few.
It's just like my house that I currently live in now. Well, it's not a house; it's a fucking studio apartment. But and the VHS wall is very condensed at this point. But it just consists of like gold to me. Mm-hmm.
Ones that you can't do without.
I just cannot. I'm not gonna ever part with them. Like they're videos I had growing up, or I found more recently that I lost.
There's one. So the first VHS tape I ever owned was the '89 Batman movie.
Oh yeah.
Which blew my mind that I was going to be able to watch a movie whenever I wanted. But then when I moved to Seattle, I was working at this this store that sold VHS, and someone had accidentally bought, it was a French dub of that movie. And the people returned it because they're like, this was all in French. And my boss threw it away, but then I took it out of the garbage. And because I'd watched that movie so many times, I could say all the lines. And so it was just kind of like enjoyable. Like if you know a movie, like you know
so
all.
You learned French from Batman.
I did not learn French. No, I would just like occasionally watch it. And like once me and my girlfriend came home.
That's pretty funny.
We came home like drunk one night, and like she was in the bathroom like washing her face or something, and I put it in, and I just heard her be like, no, don't, because it drove her crazy. Yeah. It was so stupid, like watching a movie that you actually couldn't understand. I will never give up that tape. I love that tape.
You still have it?
I still have it, yeah.
Oh. If you still have it, give it to me.
Okay.
Then I'll learn French because I know every line of that movie verbatim. So at the point when they say certain things, I'll know. I'll know that's the word.
Yeah.
Did you watch all the movies on the VHS wall?
No.
That seems
yeah.
It became more of the aesthetic of filling up the wall. A lot of it, again, was from old roommates, but I watched way more than anybody else had, at that point.
Do you remember when a movie was really long, how you get like 2 tapes?
Yeah,
and that always made me feel
Titanic's
awesome. Yeah, that always, and you got that rubber band around it. That always made me feel really cool.
I know someone who they found Das Boot at a yard sale.
Oh, shit.
And they put it in, but it was only the second tape. And they were like, wow, this just really kicks into the action.
I don't know who anyone is.
They're like, what the fuck? And then they watched it and they were like, wait, what? And they
really
felt really confused.
Into the action.
And then they found out like a long time later that they'd missed the whole first part of the movie.
It just made me feel like I was watching an important movie.
That's what I say about Titanic. Start from the second tape, man.
Oh yeah,
it's actually really kicks.
I guess with those doubles, like you really just got to start with the second one. Like the series, just start from the second tape. That's where shit's really fucking weird.
Yeah. After I saw that, I didn't take a shower for like a week when I was like 13 because I was worried he was gonna come up from the shower and like
which is funny because like every week Joseph kind of stinks. He's like, hey, I watched it earlier. I watched it and I didn't shower.
I have to do it. Wait, 1 week.
Man, one day I want to like break in here and just put a copy of it in your shower.
That would scare the shit out of me. Honestly,
also
that's like the double copy.
Yeah, and the head that comes out of the like on the cover, it scares me a lot.
So now, do you ever check? I mean, I know that VHS in some ways are invaluable, but did you ever like wonder about if you ever had any like valuable ones? Like, because there are, it's crazy. Like some movies that have never been put on DVD, the VHS.
Yeah, I don't have anything valuable. I just have shit that nobody wants. Like it's, I mean, everything that I think is valuable, I bought for $0.25.
Yeah.
But that's just my childhood.
Yeah.
So that's why it's valuable to me. But there was a one VHS that I bought. It was Superman 4: The Quest for Peace.
Yeah.
The like worst of the franchise at the time.
Nuclear Man.
Nuclear Man was in that.
Not Dolph Lundgren. Like that guy was not Dolph Lundgren.
What? Yeah.
The blonde?
Meaning
like
that like they basically
he was cast as like we need a Dolph Lundgren.
Yeah,
I see what you mean. Yeah,
he was not Dolph Lundgren.
Yeah.
Like,
he looked like just an 80s Ken doll.
Yeah.
The guy that they got. But I bought it because I used to watch it when I was a kid. Never had a problem with it.
Oh, as kids, you can forgive anything.
Oh, totally. It was a Superman movie, and he fought a superhuman person.
Yeah, right.
I thought that was amazing. And like, I for the longest time, I would watch. Up until maybe I was 12 or 13 when the tape got lost. It was just a recorded off TV version of it. But I found it maybe a couple years ago, and it had a sticker on it, a price tag. And the price tag was $99.89.
Yeah.
And I was like, fuck, this must have been the time when VHSs were coming out to buy.
Yeah.
And they were like $100.
Yeah, that's weird to think about.
Blew my mind.
Also, that really slow-mo fight on the moon is one of the worst pieces of cinema I've ever seen.
Superman struggling to like keep the American flag up. Like, let me just put this up.
Well, that's from what I understand. One of the reasons that, like when VHS stores like started popping up all over the place, one of the reasons everyone had a big horror section because horror movies were actually cheaper. Because like the studios, like the VHS, to get a VHS from a studio is like $100, and so whereas like the companies that are making horror movies, they didn't give a shit, and so theirs would be like $50 or even less.
Right.
And so like like a convenience store in like the Midwest or something is going to like, oh, wait, we're gonna start selling start renting VHS tapes. They just needed to fill the stores, and so sometimes they would just like order tons of horror movies.
I didn't know it used to work that way, especially expense-wise. That's insane.
Yeah.
Wow. Oof.
I mean,
it's a lot of those like earlier. I just did a podcast on this about New Line Cinemas.
Yeah.
And like they just, I didn't do a podcast on it, but it was I reviewed Freddy 2 because of this documentary I watched, and it talked about like how New Line, they were a new company and they were putting out the Freddy movies. Mm-hmm. But every time they made a Freddy movie, they just put no money into it, like on purpose, even though they made like, they were so profitable.
Yeah.
Like in the box office, they were huge. But it's just crazy how they would just like take a.
I mean, that's smart, really, if they know that can work.
On the movie, on the pricing of everything.
So the structure of your podcast is that you watch the movie from the VHS wall and then talk about it with a co-host.
Yeah.
Allison,
my partner, she's someone that I have to like really convince to watch certain movies because she's like. These are all movies that I picked out. It's all me. It's my childhood and everything. And it's just like, hey, Allison, do you want to watch The Wizard today? And it's like, no. And so I have to be like, I'm going to put it on and we're going to talk about it afterwards. I think the aesthetic of talking about it afterwards is enough to convince her. But
I like it because you always seem really enthusiastic about this ridiculous movie, and she's just like, this was weird and not good.
But that's the
but it's great.
I like that reaction.
Yeah. But especially the powder episode, that like you two, like it seemed like
that was hard.
Yeah. That was well, for our listeners who maybe don't know what powder is, why don't you explain quickly?
Powder is a film that came out in the mid '90s that stars Jeff Goldblum and that lady from Back to the Future 3. I forget her name.
And one of the Boondock Saints.
That's right.
Oh god.
That's right. This is the only drama we've ever done on VHS Wall, and I think it might be the last because we watched it and it's like pretty heavy. Allison was really like bothered by it when we were watching it because it's pretty real as far as like the whole bullying someone for having a
difference,
an issue. Yeah. And so but I was trying to, when we recorded it, I was like, okay, after we watched it, we were really, really upset.
Yeah.
And we were mostly upset because we were supposed to watch this with Jason Baxter, who's in USF, and also does the Howard Hour podcast. He didn't show up. And so we had to watch this. And when we talked about it afterwards on the podcast, we thought it might be good because we'll have three different perspectives and more, but it was just me and my girlfriend, and and it was just like she was bothered by it. I was trying to like keep it light, but it was fun. It was very fun, especially in the editing stage.
Yeah. I like that episode. I've listened to like the first half of it.
One of my favorite parts of that is you point out that Jeff Goldblum says to this guy, so he touched like Powder has like some sort of like magical abilities or something like that. Like he's more in tune to the universe.
Fully explained.
Yeah, he's more in tune to like the universe than a regular human.
Exactly.
And Jeff Goldblum and him touch somehow or some point.
It's real weird.
And then Jeff Goldblum says that like he's like, oh yeah, ever since I touched you, I've been having the best sex of my life. Which isn't he his like biology teacher? And that's just so weird. That's something that a teacher should never be talking.
First off, he's talking about touching a student.
Yeah.
And he's not, and then he's not even, he's actually touching the student while talking to the student about touching the student.
Yeah.
And talking about sex. And it's just, I don't know.
Every angle of it is very inappropriate.
It's the one scene that, in that movie, that's the only thing I think about.
Well, like sometimes I wish that like movies had like sequels where they just addressed the legality of the movie.
Right.
Like one that I really want to see is the movie Commando. Like because you have this guy who is like destroyed parts of a city, went to another nation and like killed a bunch of people. All to rescue his daughter, which that's fine, but I'm thinking the courts are going to have some stuff to talk about. I mean, like,
and politics would be destroyed, like foreign relations.
And that would, I would love to just see the trial of what's the guy's John Matrix, I think is his name. But yeah, and for his like, why did you beat up these 4 cops? Well, my daughter.
Good Arnie impression.
It was my daughter. Wait, what is that? It's like a Russian army.
It was my daughter.
It was my daughter.
But just a sequel to Powder where they just cover the town's reaction to all that weird shit that just happened.
Oh my god.
Jeff Goldblum is being talked to by the authorities for touching a student.
If for some reason CBS was there and like captured him getting like evaporated by lightning.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, there's just some guys were filming something in the woods and they just kind of got it in the background.
Right, like the 70s Bigfoot footage.
Yeah.
So funny.
But now speaking of touching, and speaking of Freddy's Dead, you recently posted that you thought Freddy's Dead was one of the most homoerotic movies that you've ever seen.
I didn't. It wasn't that I thought that. It was that it was dubbed that. It had been given that sort of, certificate, because when I watched this documentary about all the Freddy movies, it's amazing. You guys should watch it. It was mesmerizing.
Is it the one that comes in the box set of all of them?
No, it's on Netflix.
Oh, okay.
Really?
Yeah, Allison and I were just flipping through Netflix and we didn't know what the fuck to watch, and so I was just like, I'm just gonna push play on this Freddy documentary that came out really recently.
Okay.
And it starts out with like claymation Freddy reenactments of the film.
That's
while the credits are going on, and I was like, immediately both of us were like, and Allison doesn't give a fuck about Freddy movies. I kind of don't either, but like more so than her, and she and I were just into it. And that when it got to talking about the second Freddy movie, it was like they were just showing the scenes, like the homoerotic scenes.
There's one where they're wrestling in the schoolyard and they rip each other's clothes off.
They just rip each other's clothes off. There's the scene where he thinks he's turning into Freddy, so he goes to this jock's house and he confides in him big time, but like in a really, really weird, very homoerotic way.
Because I was gonna say, have you ever seen the movie Leeches? Leeches is it's a movie about some scientists, I think.
Was it kind of recent?
10 years, maybe.
10 years? Okay, yeah, I remember seeing ads for that and being like, I'm never going to see that.
So I was doing a movie marathon with someone where it was based on the attack from the sea, and we kind of counted leeches as part of that. But yeah, there's this college, and someone's dumping stuff into the sewage, and then it turns radioactive. The leeches become, powerful and stuff.
Yeah.
But it's about I think a football team, and it's none of them are gay, but it's really, really homoerotic.
Yeah,
there's scenes where one guy's with his date and she ties him up in bed, and then she's like, "Oh, we don't have any condoms. I'm gonna go back to my dorm and get some." So he's laying there all tied up, and then the leeches start coming from him.
Yeah.
And there's all these scenes of just the guy showering for a really long time. It's much longer than you'd need for an establishing shot.
Right.
And I can't remember the director's name now. God damn it! But then I found out that's what he does. He makes horror movies, and then he adds homoerotic.
The writer, you said?
The director.
The director. Okay.
His name was
because I think in Freddy 2, the writer was gay,
okay,
and he was just all adding all this stuff in, and I think the director. Actually, I don't know if the director was aware of it.
Yeah.
But in the documentary, it's funny because it's just they were like, we didn't know at the time, but. Yeah, I guess that's what it was.
Yeah.
It's like Troll 2. If you even watch that movie, that even has like all the guys in the bus.
Yeah.
I don't know if you guys ever saw Troll 2.
I saw it. Yeah, I saw it, but it was
It's just these a lot of those older mid to late 80s video nasties type horror films that were so low budget had these undertones, and it's so fun to watch. Yeah. I love it.
So now you've been doing this podcast for a while. So we've been doing radio for about 10 years. It's only since
maybe 15.
Yeah, it's only.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, we've been on the radio for 10, 15 years. The only started doing podcasts in January. Do you have any pro tips for us?
Pro tips?
Should we put our stuff on YouTube?
Get off AM radio.
Well, that's where my heart and soul is.
Well, then you will not succeed. What you need to do is migrate over to the YouTube channel.
Yeah. The YouTube channel.
And you need to
get that power going.
You need to migrate with this specific channel called Hard to Find Video. And Hard to Find Video, right now they're currently housing the VHS wall, but they need more podcasts.
Oh.
So, if what you could do is just, say, hey, how's me? They will do it. For free.
I'm going to send them that email.
For free.
Wait, I misunderstood when you said "how's me." I thought you meant like "how is me."
Yeah, I actually did too. I didn't realize you were saying that either.
Because I'm saying it.
How
like
is
a
me?
word.
Yeah.
How's me? Yeah, I want to go up to people and be like, "How's me?
Yeah. How's me today?
How's me?"
And have them tell you how you are.
I say that in the mirror every morning. How's me today?
That'd be such a like if someone was that narcissistic when they like had coffee with someone, they're like, "How's me? Tell me what you think. How am I
Give it to
doing?"
me
Yeah.
right now. You don't know me. No. So this channel on the video
Hard to find
channel,
video.
the internet video channel.
Yep.
It's called Hard to Find Video. It's housing. Currently,
Right.
the VHS Wall podcast, which is pretty much you go on YouTube, you can listen to the podcast on YouTube, and the thing about that is that there's more tagging ability, and like it pops up more.
Search like if someone were to search powder or Ewoks, like your thing would pop up.
It would probably come up with your podcast on the list, And so that's just a thing, and I'm gonna add the Hour Hour guys. They don't know that yet, but I'm gonna add them onto it. I keep saying I. It's not me. It's that other channel.
Yeah.
It's me. It's really me. I'm doing it. I'm doing the Hard to Find Video. The reason why it's called Hard to Find Video is because I created a YouTube channel when YouTube was created called Hard to Find Video, and uploaded the entire Muppets Go to Disney World special onto it.
That's pretty amazing.
And you could at that time you could only upload in 9-minute increments.
Yeah.
So I did the whole movie in 9-minute increments, and each video has like 300,000 views on it.
Wow, that's awesome.
So I was just like, I'm gonna put the VHS wall on this thing, and I'm actually gonna start putting podcasts on it.
Cool.
So I don't know.
Well, we got
idea.
We'll talk to our legal department.
Which is just Gary. He went to a mail away law school where you just mail stuff off and you get a certificate back and you're a lawyer.
Yeah, absolutely.
He passed the fucking bar.
He passed a bar and went to another one.
Oh.
Hey.
That's the worst joke I've ever made on this podcast.
So one thing that I do want to critique you about is that I'm fuck you. Is that I'm bummed that you do split up and you do like episodes of all the trailers you watched, and you don't do them along with the movie, because I think it's really funny. Like sometimes what got paired up with this movie, like I'm assuming that companies had to pay to get their trailers onto those tapes, or at least they're the same, production company. And why do they think people who are going to watch Powder wanted to see like these trailers? And
that's a good point. I mean, I wouldn't mind hearing what they're paired up with.
Yeah, it's really funny. And when I first started out, I was doing it that way. But then it's so coincidental that the movies that I pick to watch like don't have trailers in front of them, and they just like go straight to the film. And I don't know. I think more recently, it's been like the last two movies had like one trailer before them, but it's like I don't know. We just kind of dive into the film because since we moved the VHS wall, it's been hard to get our VCR to work the way it was at the old house. So coincidentally, the movies that we've been watching were on Netflix.
Oh.
But they are on the VHS wall. Like,
if it's on the wall.
I have proof. Like, there's a photo of the wall.
Yeah.
So there's also that. But I also found that, like, I like doing just spur of the moment mini episodes where I just, like, it's just me.
Yeah.
And I can talk about those trailers and everything like that, and then talk about how, like, or why it was in front of the movie it was. Like, Powder, for example, had a lot of trailers in front of it, and I did a mini episode that just talked about trailers. I call it Trailer Club, and Powder had a lot of these very serious, you've never heard of them films, and then at the very end it had While You Were Sleeping.
I remember you talking about that. I vaguely knew what that movie was about, but then when you explain what it's actually about, it's like it's insane.
My mind.
It's
if you
is that the one about the
weird.
coma where she's in a coma and then she falls in love with someone?
She sees a guy from across the street.
Yeah.
I haven't even fucking seen the movie.
Yeah.
And I just saw the trailer, and I guess she sees a guy across the street. She tells tells her friend, "Hey, that guy's so hot. Oh my god, I'll bet he's married. I'll bet, like I could never.
Good ones are taken.
I could never get him. Yeah." And then she watches him get hit by like a car or something, and he falls down, and she goes to his rescue and brings him to the hospital. And then his family come while she's still there, and they're like, "Oh, you must be her girlfriend." And she's like, "Yeah."
Oh,
yeah,
that's
I
insane.
totally am. Psychotic.
Yeah.
Sandra Bullock.
We're supposed to
then it
relate
gets
to that
even-
character?
No, then it gets even weirder because then doesn't she fall in love with his friend or something?
Yeah. Because it gets weirder. His best friend comes to visit the guy that she initially was like, "Yeah, I'm his girlfriend." At the hospital, they literally showed you the movie in the trailer. And she falls in love with his best friend.
Jeez.
And then so he wakes up and he's like, "What the fuck is going on? And who the fuck are you?"
Yeah.
Is Bill Pullman one of the actors?
Maybe. I think Pullman might be. Well, he's in Sleepless in Seattle. He kind of plays like a doofusy friend character.
Bill Pullman. Or Greg Kinnear.
Something like
Greg
that.
Kinnear is like the poor man's Bill Pullman.
Oh, God.
That's pretty tough.
So basically, if you have a working VCR, please, and you want to donate it to the VHS wall, please email us at Accidents on Purpose.
I more recently found...
Podcast@gmail.com.
Thanks. We have a bit with the...
I found a VCR, VHS. I found a VCR at Goodwill on sale for $1.99.
Oh.
And just plugged it in and it works.
Nice.
So look forward to more trailer reviews.
I have a friend of mine made me 3 2-hour tapes that are nothing but horror movie trailers and
You had 3 tapes full of trailers?
He took 3 blank tapes and then through VHS and DVDs of horror movies like blaxploitation movies, sexploitation movies.
That must have taken a lot of time.
Yes, and then on the
That is time consuming.
and on the back he wrote every single movie.
Jeez.
So anyways, these are amazing. These are amazing, and I used to just
think he was getting paid to do something like that?
Yeah.
It was, and this was something that I just always, I would just like go through them, and like I'd have them on, like I'd have like a tape on the VCR, and before we watched any movie, I'd be like, we will always watch 3. I'm like, let's just watch 3, because that's kind of the amount you'd get in a movie theater.
Right.
And so it was always like funny, like, oh, haha, that we should try to find that movie and watch that, and like a lot of weird ones. And then one time, 2 people had come over. I was living with my girlfriend. 2 people had come over to play like a game or something. And I think that something awkward happened during the playing of the game. And the game was over, and there was some awkwardness in the air. And it was like, oh, hey, let's watch some wacky trailers. 3 sexploitation ones in a row.
Oh.
And so now I just look like a weird perv who's like trying to get the party started.
Yeah, come over to my house. We'll have a terrible time playing a game, and then we'll watch these trailers.
And then we'll watch these.
Yeah.
It'll feel more weird. Yeah, that's amazing. That's so good. I actually... Sorry to switch it, but like as far as trailers go, the term trailer club, which is what I dub some of those mini episodes where I review trailers, is from that original like collection we had at the house of VHSs, and friends would come over and we would all just gather around and rewind all the movies at the beginning and just pick the movies that we thought would have the best trailers and like watch the trailers, and when the movie's about to start, take it out, put the next one in.
That's awesome.
And we called it Trailer Club. We did that for like a good solid like month or 2. We were picking movies like Armageddon, like just movies you just think like would have like great trailers in front of them. And like you find out about movies that you did not know existed.
And you probably shouldn't know existed.
You probably not. Yeah, exactly. Shouldn't be made.
When Rodriguez and Quentin Tarantino did Grindhouse, that double, like they had their friends make fake trailers, and I wish that like that trend would have caught on.
Yeah,
I wish like,
and then they made a movie from the fake trailer because it was so popular. Everyone was like, "I want to see that movie."
Those guys are just too ahead.
Yeah,
I think. It's this generation doesn't get it, but our generation gets it.
Yeah,
more trailers.
Yeah, we want more trailers.
We should make a trailer for the podcast.
We've actually been talking about that.
So one of my favorite parts of a movie, especially an action movie, is the dressing scene. Where like, the guy's like zipping up things and like loading guns,
putting
and, like,
his
putting gloves on and belts on.
And there's like sounds like chunk, like truck.
Have you guys seen Batman and Robin?
Yeah, yeah. And then there's Batman.
The first fucking scene where they show you like putting on their their
butts.
butt parts.
Yeah. It's a weird movie.
Yeah, it's very weird.
I kind of miss the time period where Batman was like kind of unpopular because of that movie.
Yeah.
Like right now, like Batman's hugely popular. It's been for like 10 years or even more. Like everyone's wearing Batman t-shirts. But for a while, like when people thought of Batman, they were thinking of that movie.
Yeah, they're like,
they weren't really making superhero movies after that happened. They only did in between the time of like Batman and Robin and
Spider-Man.
Maybe Spider-Man or X-Men.
Yeah.
They only were coming out with like weird like rated R comic book movies like Blade. So they were just like, that was like a drastic measure that they took. They were just like, well, comic book movies are fucking stupid, so we'll make R-rated ones.
Right. Well, I think also that was like so cheesy and like for kids and like stupid. They were like, the only way to go is dark, and we just have to get this one crowd. Like we'll get money from people who just like movies. I
remember loving Batman Forever as a kid.
Yeah.
I thought it was really great because my mom saw it before I did and came home and
I was
raving about it.
with it. Yeah.
And she was just like, he does this and this, and then like he turns to the camera and smiles. And I was just like, okay, Mom, whatever. Yeah. But then I saw the movie and I was like, this is great. And then Batman and Robin came out, and as a kid, I was like, I don't know, 12, 11, watching it. I wanted to leave the theater as a kid. Yeah. And that says a lot about a kid's movie.
Yeah. That kids don't even like it?
Yeah, exactly.
There was like a summer where me and my friends were sneaking into movies just because we didn't have anything else to do. And that was a movie we snuck into. And I can't remember if it was that or Men in Black that we left. Like, we snuck into a movie and left.
It had to have been Men in Black 2, because Men in Black 1's great.
Yeah, it is. So this is not a joke, and Danny knows this.
I fucking hate those movies.
Danny knows this about me. I am obsessed with Men in Black. I love the first movie.
One.
Yeah, the first one is great. The other two don't make any sense.
That's the bug guy.
Yeah. Vincent D'Onofrio is amazing.
It's
like,
so funny.
I think it's great.
Noisy Cricket? It's so funny.
I need a snack. I love that. I love them.
When
I moved to Brooklyn, Danny.
You moved to New York.
When I moved to New York, Danny
really?
sent me a Laserdisc copy of Men in Black in the mail, and I opened it. I was like, he gets me. Like, that's so nice. But people think I'm joking when they ask me what my favorite movie is. That's what I say. And
your favorite movie is Men in Black?
Yeah, sure. I mean, I think it's actually 12 Angry Men.
I seriously, to this day, do not have a problem putting on Men in Black and watching it.
No, I love it.
But it's just all about that bug guy for me.
Yeah. Oh my God. All right. This is a lot of fun. We gotta take a break.
Wait.
Danny, we have to pay some. They're about to cut off our power at the studio.
Wait. Would you interview Will Smith?
Yeah, absolutely. But I would only ask him questions about that movie.
I would ask him why he's doing this weird experiment on 2 children to see if they can grow up being the most out of touch 2 human beings on the planet.
There has to be experiments involved.
He has to understand what's happening there.
Will Smith doesn't understand
that has to do with
anything.
Maybe that has to do with his divorce that he's going with now. I don't know. Maybe it's her.
Yeah, maybe it's her. How do we know it's Will Smith?
She's pretty crazy, ain't God?
Well, he does cast his kids in his movies, so.
He basically.
What if it's at the demand request of Peyton?
Oh.
What if she?
Wait, Peyton.
Oh, Peyton, isn't that his wife's name?
No. Jada.
Yeah.
You put Jaden and Jada.
Thinking of like Star Wars prequels or something.
Yeah.
Have you ever heard her metal band?
She has a metal band?
She sings for a metal band. It was on the David Letterman show.
What?
I believe it 100% because when I used to like hardcore music, when I was like straight out of high school, I know that Will Smith was obsessed with like my favorite hardcore bands. You know, like those like shitty breakdown like newcore bands.
I know exactly what you're talking about.
Obsessed with them. So it had to have been a family thing.
Yeah.
What a weird family.
Gary, pull it up.
Unworthy demise, his weakness peels away.
But Will Smith, man, I'm really excited to see the Suicide Squad movie. I think it's going to be a horrible movie.
I disagree with you.
I think it's going to be a horrible movie.
Yeah, I think it's going to be good.
Harley Quinn is going to steal it.
Yeah.
She's going to be the most entertaining part about the movie. It won't even matter if everybody else sucks.
I kind of don't care if Will Smith's in it or not. And Killer Croc, that actor is one of my favorite actors. He's great in Oz.
He looks good in the. You said something and we're just.
No, it's fine.
We're like, fuck you.
Yeah. I'm fine me having the minority opinion, but I'm just interested to see Will Smith being in a movie that isn't about just his character.
Me too, yeah.
Like, he's never in ensemble films. Like, I think
it's because he knows people don't like him as much anymore, and so he wants to, like,
hey, you know what? If you're going to do something
back.
to make yourself be relevant and, like, okay again with people, do this.
Yeah. I think it's a great career move.
It is.
Sorry.
Well, what's funny is that he said in an interview, Quentin Tarantino offered him the part in Django. Right. And Will Smith himself said he's like, yeah, I just said, I wanted to rearrange the script. I wanted those lines. I wanted to kill the guy at the end.
I read that.
And he said all these things about how he just wanted all the good parts to be done by Django. And Quentin Tarantino was like, well, it's these two characters working together.
They're both the main character.
Yeah. And then he was like, yeah, I don't want to do that.
There's an interview, and I know you want to go to the break, but just real quick, there's an interview with Margot Robbie, who plays Harley Quinn in the film in Suicide Squad, and Will Smith. They were both in a film together recently, called Focus.
I saw the trailer for that. It looked ridiculous.
I never watched it. Don't care.
Seems like the most conspicuous con man I've ever seen. Anyway,
right. But it's like they're both the main characters, and so there's a press junket where she was already, or she and him were already announced as cast for Suicide Squad. And they ask her about that and how, like, because they just did that movie together. And she's just like, well, after we were done with Focus, I turned to Will Smith, I called him, and I was just like, you gotta do this movie. And he's like, okay. So he did it for her.
Huh.
She's got some info on him.
Yeah.
She's got some video clips of some stuff they did. Yeah. There's something,
Huh. That's interesting.
She convinced him to do the movie, and she probably told him, "You're not going to be the main focus, but do it because I want to do another movie with you."
Yeah, so, and it's going to be a huge movie, whether it's good or bad. Exactly. It's going to be huge.
So that's a little bit of something I've got. I'm such a fucking nerd about this.
No, that's great.
The trailer to Suicide Squad is so ridiculous.
What is this? Some kind of Suicide
Squad? I love that.
I know you don't like that. I like it. I like it.
I get it.
It's a ridiculous movie.
I couldn't get the song of the trailer out of my head for fucking
minutes. I don't know what to say. I'm like, until I see it and it's bad, I'm on board.
I just don't understand why comic book characters now all have to have tattoos, and I think that's
it's a David Goyer film.
Yeah, the tattoos thing I'm not on board with.
He's obsessed with it. If you watch any David Goyer film, he will require you. You are required to have tattoos in that movie.
Like, I have nothing against tattoos, but at all. But every character, especially the Joker. I know that's been like a thing. I'm not that into it, but I still think he's gonna be good at it.
It's just silly to think of the Joker going to a tattoo parlor and being like, I like to laugh a lot.
What if he had Harley do all the tattoos? What if he had
also,
her?
I heard we're
gonna get nerdy.
One thing is that
I don't care.
Was that some people say like, well, he only gets it because he knows people hate it because it looks stupid and because it's cheesy, and he does that because he's the Joker. Fuck you guys. Like that's his.
I also think this version of Joker is supposed to be like a sort of he's like making fun of everything.
Yeah.
So by having the tattoos, I feel like it's just his way of like just making fun of people that do have tattoos, or those tough, I don't know, crime people, and he's just trying to be like.
There is a comic book, and the All-Star Joker. He has tattoos. That's all I'm saying. So there's
there's things that work in a comic book that I don't think work like on film. Like I saw in the trailer, there's a character like dressed up as a panda bear or something like that, like shooting a gun.
You mean in the trailer?
In the trailer, yeah. Like they're like I don't know, they're like the Joker's.
He was wearing a Batman mask.
Yeah. No, there's the same.
I think that's a Joker actually shooting that gun wearing a Batman mask.
Oh.
So I think with that same crew, there's someone else.
Okay.
There's someone else, and it's like. really, you're really gonna make these guys wear panda outfits and stuff just because it's gonna look crazy. I don't know. Sometimes things work in the
here's the
comics.
bottom line, and like this is the thing. That trailer we shouldn't have even seen it in the first place.
Yeah.
Because it was leaked from Comic-Con.
And then released like the next day.
Released the next day because what they did was they tried to actually pull it. They tried to pull it off the internet for a long time because they didn't want people that weren't in Comic-Con to see it because that was supposed to be a special treat for them. Like, here's what we got so far footage-wise, and then made a trailer out of it. But it was leaked, so they were just like, well, might as well watch the HD version. So we are probably seeing things out of context.
Yeah. I mean, there's of course we are. It's a trailer. There is no context, which I like. I like that it wasn't one of those trailers that was like, what's going to happen when this happens? It's this. Like, this is what happens. Like, and
Time to save the world!
Yeah, it's like...
Yeah, he's going to have some Will Smith lines.
Yeah, he's Will Smith. What do you expect?
I mean, the other thing is, when you're doing, like, an ensemble, a group of superhero characters that all have their powers for different reasons, it's also weird. Like, there's going to be magic involved.
That I understand. You've brought this up before in the meetings that we have. Meetings.
Well, do you know what the point of that film is? The point of that film is... let me tell you, is to introduce you to a bunch of villains in the new DCEU, which is the film universe of DC. The only film that's come out so far is Man of Steel, and it's to introduce you to all these villains that a lot of them were Batman villains, and then have that movie happen, and then for the rest of the however movies they make. Yeah. You already know who the villains, like, you've already been introduced to them. So it's like an explosion. It's like the opposite of what Marvel does, which is just every standalone film they have, they just have a villain in it.
DC knows they have to catch up real fast, like if they're going to...
Warner Brothers is a poorly run company. Like, all the decisions they've been making about movies are so stupid. Like, it's just like...
DC
Well, we don't know. It's true. It's true up until... I mean, and Man of Steel, I don't think they knew if they wanted to run with it. That's why it doesn't seem like it works continuity-wise. Yeah. But now that they are running with it, I feel like they're just trying to run. I know you got something.
He does not like Man of Steel.
Oh, that's okay. It's okay. I'm the biggest like Superman fan I know, so I see the good in that film, but I also see the bad in it. But I don't think they knew that they wanted to run with a Marvel-style universe with Man of Steel. Yeah. Right. That's why that movie has its flaws, and that's why that movie is
it's not forward-thinking with
It's not forward-thinking. Like, you wouldn't think that Batman exists in that movie. Yeah. But since they are running with it, I think that you should consider... And this is all dependent on if Batman v Superman is good. This is turning into a fucking
who cares?
A fucking comic book podcast. Is if that movie with Batman and Superman is good, and running with that, and Suicide Squad, because they both come out the same year. Yeah. So I think that's really going to be, Man of Steel aside, the defining point if they're going to go forward.
I've also read like Batman versus Superman is the movie that's going to retroactively make Man of Steel good.
Because they're going to answer for all the things that were shitty in that movie. They're going to answer. They're going to answer that with it. Yeah.
I just think if you just took Man of Steel on its own, it is a poorly written movie.
I agree.
David Goyer is the worst. He's the writer of the third Dark Knight movie, and he had a part in the second movie, but also there was other writers in that
one. Third Dark Knight movie is
Third Dark Knight is the worst, and he wrote all the dialogue and all that stuff. He also did Man of Steel, so it makes sense that it was also...
There's YouTube channel that I like and Danny also likes, the Cinema Sins. They do...
Oh, they're great.
Yeah, everything wrong with Man of Steel is a really good one. Like the scene where he's getting pushed around the bar, and instead of like even standing up for himself, he goes and like sticks all those phone poles through the truck. It's like that's way more. That's like it's okay for you to fight back. No one's gonna think you're an alien from another world. Like,
I mean, my biggest problem with it is the Kevin Costner character, and that like
the way he dies is.
But and like it's just like all because like I mean, kind of the point of Superman. I mean, I can understand changing certain elements, but like one of the core things about Superman is this alien landed and this older Midwestern couple like instilled values.
Well,
in him.
You think it's core because that's the films, right?
Well, I've read a lot of the comic books. Yeah, I've read a lot of the comic books.
Yeah, that's how.
There's different renditions.
Yeah, I know there's different renditions. But it just also didn't make sense. Like, why would anyone?
He was more focused on hiding him than he was teaching him right and wrong, and that was confusing.
So here's the thing about Man of Steel: a lot of people they're not really like understanding, and it totally makes sense why you wouldn't understand this because it's not done well. But it's trying to tell you this is the real world.
Yeah.
And if you brought up an alien, how would you raise it? What would you do?
Yeah.
And in the Superman lore before that film, or before that version of it, it was just like, you know, like all that positivity and everything like that. But they make Martha and Jonathan Kent in that film look to be scared and not sure, because that's actually kind of a real human emotion.
Yeah.
And so they raise him, and they're like, you know what, when you're old, pretty much when you're old enough, that's when you get to decide what's right and what's wrong. And they raise him to just not be like, just basically hide.
Yeah.
But when I think about it, it makes sense, because if that's someone you raise, you want them to be safe. And like, it's a kind of a real world approach to it. I get it. It's just not what they did in the comics.
Yeah. But it's just weird, like, I mean, the scene that everyone talks about is where Superman's like, what was I supposed to do, just let those kids die? And he's like, well, maybe. That's insane.
That was not a good set of dialogue. I see what you're saying, and that's a smart way to write it.
I also admitted earlier that the script sucks.
Yeah, like, I actually, that character motivation is
I get what they were
good.
trying to convey, but with the script, it's like it could have been done in a better way.
Yeah, totally.
If you're trying to convey something.
Right, yeah.
And then the other thing is just like his, you know, globe-trotting, doing menial jobs. Like, I thought that was stupid. Honestly, I just thought that was stupid. Like, how did he end up in the Arctic working for the government? Like, with
it was just shitty editing. I feel like there was more. Now that I've seen that movie a fucking million times, because I'm such a big, huge Superman fan.
Yeah.
I understand how he got there at this point. And you're supposed to be led to believe that it was like literally years of him trying to track down something alien.
Right.
And he was like picking up clues along the way. But the movie does not give you, it gives it to you, I notice it. But it doesn't give it to you like in a very good cinematic way. Anyway, Man of Steel.
Yeah, and because I mean, also I know
on this music podcast.
I know.
Yeah, this is a music podcast,
but I mean, also like they could have like made him a I don't know.
I'm sure that there's other footage, but one thing that I appreciate about the way they edited is sometimes when you watch comic book hero movies, especially the origin ones, it's like get them into the suit. Like as much as I care about that first one, I don't want to watch an hour's worth of movie where they're not like doing something with their powers
or doing something like at least fun.
Yeah.
Like Batman Begins is fine. Like he's not in the suit,
that's
but like
great.
he's fighting in a ninja outfit.
It's interesting.
Yeah, like that the ninja fight scenes.
It is great, but just remember, it's hard to make a movie about an alien if you're trying to do a grounded real world picture.
Yeah. We figured it out, right? I'm just kidding.
Well,
guys,
Man of Steel, last thing I'm going to say about it, and we can move on, is I just want to say there's one thing that, taking the movie that it is, if there's one thing that I could just add into it that would pretty much change the film in itself, as far as like how Superman is hopeful, is that scene where the buildings are crushing down and like the editor Perry White is trying to get that girl out of the rubble.
Yeah.
And he's with that other guy, another intern or something like that, is while they're doing that, they just like pretty much are giving up hope, and that's in the movie. They look up and they see Superman flying. This is where I would add, is if just add Superman flying over to like stop the main problem, and they look up and like it focuses on their eyes and it has some music and it shows hope.
Yeah.
And like if they did that, then
there's no hope in that movie.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
The other thing, and then this will be the last thing we talk about Superman. But I kind of like the idea of like, you know, Superman, something that like, you know, he decided to start helping humanity, and so there's like sightings of him, and then there's rumors about him, and people are like, who is he? And then somehow he like introduces himself to the world, and they see him as this like helper. But in this movie, if you look at it from the point of view of just like an average citizen, one day all the TVs are taken over, and some alien says they want someone who's here who we never heard of.
Right.
Yeah, and then they destroy like the biggest city.
Well, I think that's what's going to make Batman's reaction make sense, because he's going to be like, who the fuck is this guy? He just destroyed a city. I got to take him down, and that's going to be great.
Oh, God.
One last thing I'll say about Man of Steel. I'm just kidding. Let's fucking move on.
.org. Okay, so besides watching VHS tapes,
God.
Man of Steel was like totally a maker like 3 years ago.
I know, yeah. It's not even. You can't
No one cares about this part.
You know how that conversation started? Batman and Robin.
Yeah. Hey, you're gonna tell someone, hey, there's this pretty good podcast where they talk about Man of Steel. Wait, what? Wait, the new one? No, the old one. So besides watching VHS tapes, you also hit the skins a little bit.
I do.
You play drums. Now you have a new project.
I'm working on a thing. It's just me. I'm pretty much doing what I did in my last band, Haunted Horses, where in that band I was playing the drums, singing, and I had a SPDS sampler. So I just kind of decided to run with what I learned from that, because I learned a lot how to play with a sampler and play like the drums. And I'm just making that its own thing.
So it's just you.
It's just me. Yeah. Right now, I'm thinking about maybe adding someone else as like maybe a vocal thing, but right now it's instrumental at this point.
Is there a lot of pressure with that?
No.
Do you put a lot of pressure on yourself?
Well, no, just meaning.
No.
I mean, I don't know, because it's sometimes good to have someone else around, like just to like generate ideas and like.
Also, sometimes it's really great that you're the only one that makes
okay.
makes the call.
Yeah, you've been in a lot of bands over the years, so it's probably like a nice change.
Yeah, it's something I've been wanting to do for a while. I even thought about starting this like while I was doing Horses, but yeah, it's just really, for me, it's like a load off my shoulders. I get to take as much time as I want. I can record when I want. I can make whatever sounds I want into, and what I do is it essentially it's like playing karaoke with myself.
With your own song.
It was my own.
Yeah, that's a thing. Yeah.
Do you have words on a screen anywhere in your practice?
No. No, that would be good though.
Yeah, that'd be cool.
I know Axl Rose used to do that, which I thought was really funny.
Whoa, really?
Yeah, you can sometimes see it on some like live clips where they had like monitors that did the lyrics.
Because he doesn't remember the lyrics.
I'm not surprised by that at all.
Joseph has a Guns N' Roses tattoo on his stomach.
I've never shown it to anybody.
But I've seen it. I have seen it. When we went skinny dipping.
Oh yeah.
And I saw Tady's
Wait,
titties.
what's
you have an EP coming out?
Yeah, what's the name of
Is
the
it just
project?
going to be digital, or is it going to be some sort of format?
I think I'm gonna release it digitally first, and it's called Hints.
Hints.
And I want to get it dialed down. Right now, it's a weird way of writing music because I have the sort of basic skeleton of each song, and that's what I went into the studio and recorded. But I know I want to add more to it. But I feel like I'm only going to know what that is during the mixing process of the EP.
Because then you feel like you can tell what's missing.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And that's one of those things that's weird when you're by yourself. Like, you don't have those extra layers, you don't have those extra elements, and sometimes you have to figure them out after the fact. So I'm doing that, and then once I get it all figured out, I'll program everything into the sampler, and then I'll start worrying about playing shows.
That's awesome. Seems like a good plan.
Yeah.
Is there any chance ever that Footwork will ever do anything?
Footwork, oh my god.
I am still to this day like I love that last EP you guys put out. I think it's amazing. And if listeners, if you haven't heard it, like it's incredible. I love Footwork.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you. Footwork was like probably the most fun project I ever did, and the reason why it was what it was because it was a weird time. I was in Haunted Horses before I was in Footwork, and Colin, who was at that time Haunted Horses was a two-piece. Colin was the other guy in the band, and he moved to New York, and so Haunted Horses at that point was on a maybe permanent hiatus. We didn't know what was going on there, so I decided to start a band with James, who was in Wet Paint at the time, and he's currently in Smiling and Nail Polish. And we started a thing called Footwork. It was the two of us, and we decided to add another layer. We had our friend Taylor come on board. He was also in a band with James called Cut Loose, which is still, if you ever... You can listen to them. It's amazing. If you go onto the Footwork Bandcamp, it actually has an EP from Cut Loose on it.
Okay.
And
I don't think I never saw it.
No, yeah.
It's so good. It's a weird, like, fucking... I don't know, fast-paced, whatever, noise project, band, punk thing that was going on with Chris Brown, James, and Taylor. Chris Brown's the one that color coordinated the VHS wall.
Oh. Bring it all back.
So they all come
together.
full circle. So yeah.
Wait, do they play out a lot?
So when I first moved to Seattle, I moved in early 2008. They were playing. Cut Loose was playing shows every weekend.
Oh wow.
At houses. In 2008, it was like the best for the Seattle community because like house shows were just on a consistent basis.
Yeah.
The community was so tight, and it's obviously different now due to like gentrification and a bunch of shit. But it was so great in 2008 and 2009, and Cut Loose was playing shows every weekend, and that's how I knew James. That's how I met him. And we started Footwork in like 2011, I think.
But you're never gonna get back together.
I don't know, man. Like Footwork was always like
just come to the studio. Just come to our
Come do it.
KOP. Just do a live set.
I remember that last show. I think it was your last show as Footwork with Jamie. Was that her name?
Jamie Brady.
Yeah, at the Black Lodge.
Black Lodge,
yeah. It's just fantastic.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you. That was really hard for me because I knew that like we wouldn't be doing shows for a while. Just now. So Taylor had an opportunity in Hong Kong.
Hong Kong. Okay.
So we knew that he either was or wasn't going to come back. So we decided to pretty much have the band either go on a really long hiatus or just pretty much break up. But we all kind of knew that he was probably going to stay there. And so I went back to horses full time. And that was the end of Footwork. Eventually Taylor came back. He's in Smiling with James. Yeah.
All right, let's say Universal Studio buys the rights to the story of VHS Wall. Who plays you, Allison, and Jason? What actors? It has to be somewhat contemporary.
Which Jason? Jason Baxter?
Jason Baxter.
Jason Baxter.
Because he's usually on.
Well, no,
There's also Jason Lamb.
Jason Lamb.
Yeah.
Jason Lamb is on more than Baxter.
Oh, really?
Baxter was
Okay.
on only for one episode.
Oh, okay.
Shit. For me, Matt Damon.
I can see that.
Allison. Oof.
You can skip that one because it might be kind of weird.
No, I
cast her.
don't know. I'll show it to her later. Well, you said that about me? We'll come back. And then, let's see. So am I doing Baxter or am I doing Lamb?
Oh, do both.
Yeah, do either one.
Do
Whichever
both.
one you have one for.
Wow.
Think about it. We can.
Okay, well, there's a guy that nobody in the world would know who would play Lamb. This actor, he only does TV. And he's played Dr. Hamilton in the Superman Dr. Hamilton in Smallville.
Okay.
I watched that. I don't remember Dr. Hamilton.
It's towards the end.
Okay. I got to season 6.
I used to watch that show, and I watched it, and I'd be like, Jason, that's you. And he's like, you're right, that is me. So that guy, and then Baxter. Baxter would play Baxter.
No one's ever said that.
He was like,
Yeah.
he'll
That's
play
good.
himself.
You want to have Rutger Hauer play
He's
it?
one of those guys that's like, if there's a documentary about like an event and there's certain people having to do with that documentary where they play themselves in the documentary.
Yeah.
That's going to be Baxter.
Yeah.
Then, is there any celebrity that you're dreading dying only because there'll be such an outpouring of, sympathy?
And it'll be annoying.
It'll
too.
just annoy the
Like
fuck
mine
out
was
of
Eddie Vedder because then I'm gonna have to hear Pearl Jam all the time.
Should it just annoy me or
it's a personal thing. Because
Like the rest of the world's like mourning this person, and you're like you can't really say anything,
Yeah.
but you're like, God, I'm tired of talking about this.
you turn on Facebook, you crank,
Turn on Facebook
you
with your
crank
channel
up the computer,
changer.
switch it on.
you switch it on, you jack into the internet, you get your virtual reality helmet on, you're on Facebook, and
Got your power glove.
got your power glove.
Wizard, nice wizard.
Just to go on
yeah.
Facebook.
yeah.
Just go on Facebook. But then, everyone's posting pictures and there's this huge outpouring of
Someone
sympathy.
died, right?
Yeah.
And the question is,
It is going to annoy the fuck out of you. Because
I don't want to see.
Because you hate
care.
this person, but you feel weird complaining about it because they did just die.
Because they did just die.
Yeah. Queen is a good one.
I kind of want to say now
Garrison
that we talked about
Keillor's a good one too.
now that we talked about Batman and Robin, I want to say Alicia Silverstone, but I don't think anyone will care when she dies.
Oh, Clueless bullshit! What the fuck are you talking about? Like 90% of the women.
Oh, that is true.
90% of the women we know love the movie Clueless.
Yeah. Yeah,
But
you're
we
right.
almost did Clueless.
I like the movie Clueless. I'll be honest. I won't lie to you about that.
Yeah.
Okay. And then people will be posting Aerosmith videos.
No, yeah, see, that's annoying. I wouldn't want that.
Did you ever see the movie she did with?
I guess the Kardashians.
all
yeah.
of them in a plane crash.
Like, if they all died and like people
Yeah.
were actually sympathetic,
Yeah.
Oh, people would be.
I
Yeah.
wouldn't be so upset.
Yeah, because people would be like, jokes aside, they were just like nice people. And,
Yeah.
people would take that tone.
They
Yeah.
weren't
Well,
real
they were
people.
honestly, I
They
feel,
weren't
like, I
real
feel like
people.
jokes aside, they were celebrities, and we need to
Yeah.
respect that. And they were all like, what? What are you talking about?
Watch any interview with any of them, you
Yeah.
cannot sympathize with
Yeah.
that person.
I still really don't even understand what's going on with. I don't know. Where,
I don't know where they came from. It was just all of a sudden
It
they
came
were.
from Kim Kardashian had a sex video with someone,
Oh.
and that's what did it. Like, it just from there, it was like.
Then they got their reality
They
show.
got their reality show, and then it just started fucking going.
Did they put out any pop singles?
I don't care.
I love when famous people just decide to be a pop singer.
It's
the little girl from True Grit, she just put out a song.
Didn't Scarlett Johansson do
Yeah,
something?
yeah.
Scarlett Johansson did a CD of all Tom Waits covers.
Yeah.
That's kind of cool.
Well, I don't know.
It's not good though.
It's not good.
Why?
Yeah.
Why? I don't know. Because Tom Waits is really, really selective about who he lets use his stuff.
Okay.
And I'm just really surprised that he let that happen.
Maybe she charmed him and he needed
She
the money.
probably under the skinned him.
Oh.
Did you ever see that movie?
Yeah.
It's so good.
It's so good. The soundtrack's really good too on its own.
Amazing.
Yeah, we
You
actually.
have to see it.
I have no idea what it is. Yeah.
No, it's a great movie, and the soundtrack on its own is like a great piece of music too.
Basically, Scarlett Johansson's an alien,
Whoa.
but you don't really,
Fuck you.
but you don't really realize it until the end.
What? Did
What?
you spoiler alert?
I know, I did, but whatever.
I'm never gonna see it.
I knew that before going in, and it's still good.
Okay, cool.
All right, the next show's coming in.
Yeah. Next show's coming in hot.
Next show's coming in. It's Wendy Wendell's weather report,
Yeah.
and there's been a lot of wind.
That's me doing wind.
Do you know the first thing I did on radio was a documentary on the history of wind?
That's not true.
It is true.
I really hope that this radio show is here next week because we did not pay a single bill today.
We did not. Pay
No,
any. We didn't-
the
we
lights
didn't-
are flickering. The building's about to fall down.
Take you right away.
I do have some ideas for some fundraising things.
That's great. Yeah, bake sale.
A bake sale?
Yeah.
We should do a bake sale.
Yeah. I'm a great baker.
Weed cookies.
God, that would be really bad. I can't, I don't. There's only two drugs I won't do: weed and PCP. And that's been this week's Accents on Purpose. Thanks to Myke Pelly for coming in.
Yeah, thank you so much.
Keep one finger on the pause button, one foot in the grave.
And I really appreciate that you've listened to the podcast this season.